Microsoft Flight Simulator has been out on the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S for quite a few weeks now, but many of you may still be starting off. Possibly you're a bit confused. Well, I hope this video does help. Today I'll be sharing my top tips and tricks for Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox. This is a perfect video for all of those who are starting out on the Xbox. Whether you're thinking about buying it or have just got it, you want to watch this video. If you've been flight simming on the PC before, you'll probably know most of these tricks, but I'll be sharing them anyway. If you're new around here, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, but without further delay, let's get right into the tips and tricks. So let's face it, piloting an aircraft with your Xbox controller can be quite a difficult feat, especially when you're messing around with autopilot panels trying to get that all set up. Well, do not fear, as many of you know, you can of course use mouse and keyboard with most Xbox games, and Microsoft Flight Simulator is no exception. All you need to do is plug it into the back of the Xbox. A pop-up will appear and then suddenly you'll have a mouse control. Of course you can do it with the keyboard, and you do get complete customization of the keyboard. It's as simple as that. Let's hop into the cockpit and I'll show you how helpful it really does make it. I'll turn off AI Pilot now by coming up to here and turning off AI Pilot. I'll push the nose down just slightly. Just like so, and now I'm going to sort out autopilot. So up here we've got the mode control panel. We're going to set that all the way up to 43,000 feet. We're going to be here for some time. And we can now enable autopilot, and there we go, it has complete control over the aircraft. As you can see, mouse is fundamental there. You can do it with your controller, but I've got to be honest, it's really fiddly, and sometimes it can be quite buggy, I find. Using mouse and keyboard can really help you out. That's why it's the first tip in this video, but now let's move on to tip number 2. Are you flying those long haul flights across the pond or down to Hong Kong? Funnily enough, like most people, you might have a job, you might have school, so you're probably not going to have time to sit down for 12 hours, 20 hours straight and fly an aircraft. Well, luckily Microsoft provide a way around this. Come to the menu, and you can use the load and save function down here. We'll click on it, and we shall save this. We can then name it whatever you want, so let's just call it 747, and save the flight, easy as that. Now once we want to, we can reload this flight and continue our way over to New York from where we are. We're just over Philadelphia at the moment. All you need to do is come back to the menu, click load, and just like that we've got our 747 flight there. It's a quite obvious feature, and many of you will probably have found it already, but I thought it deserves to be noticed because people can miss it, especially when Microsoft Flight Simulator has the ability to crash loads. It is a pretty nice feature, and one I recommend you use as much as you can. So the next 2 tips focus a bit more on the user interface, and I guess it's a bit more personal preference here. But these settings are well hidden, and to be honest, when I first got onto the Xbox, I struggled to find them as well. When you're looking around the cockpit, especially in the bigger aircraft, you'll notice plenty of these rather annoying menu and instrument tips. Now, it's good if you're brand new into the sim and want to know where things are, but eventually once you get used to it and once you kind of start recognising where things are, you'll want to get rid of it. It's well hidden, so let me show you how to turn it off. Come into the menu, click General Options, wait for it, and then come down to Accessibility. Over here we will see we've got Instrument Name Tooltips, and turn that to off, and Instrument Description Tooltips, turn that to off, and apply and save. And just like that, looking around the cockpit, we get rid of all of them. The only thing I would say is that the blue highlight is still pretty annoying, and as far as I know, there's no way to turn that off when you're using the controller, but it is what it is. That's about as clean as you can make the aircraft look. In addition, if you want some cool screenshots, or you're just fed up with this weird kind of heads-up display when you're in the external view, then there's a way you can turn it off. I think it's pretty annoying, so I'm glad they've put in a way to turn it off. And for those of you on PC, we had the same issue at launch as well. That was a very quick landing gear pull up there. So once again, come into the menu, go down to general options, come over to camera, come down to chase camera, and over instrument heads up display, come and turn it to off. Easy as that, apply and save. There we go, looks beautiful. This is how you get those awesome screenshots, otherwise, let's be real, it does ruin it. Two very simple UI tips, but it makes it look so much more realistic. Now let's return to the menu to talk about a bit more. So coming over into the marketplace, you guys may notice almost everything is payware here, but do not fear, if you want some really awesome free scenery provided to us by Asobo, then you want to come up to World Update. Now, I understand many of you might be unfamiliar with this kind of system. Basically, Asobo every month or so, every 2 months I should say, work on an area of the world, a region. We've had the UK and Ireland, Belgium, France, Netherlands and Luxembourg, the Nordics, Japan and the USA, and they provide us with some handcrafted airports, points of interest, new elevation data, etc. and it's all for free. To install it, all you need to do is come over here and click Get and Download. That will download into your content manager and should install pretty quickly, providing you with free, very pretty scenery. As you can see in the Nordics update, we got quite a few airports. We got Arlanda, Svalbard and Finland's Vasa airport, as well as plenty of points of interest. It's a really good way to get some awesome scenery, some awesome points of interest, and I'm surprised, to be honest, that Asobo don't make it stand out even more, because you do have to search around for it. But there we go. Now, as I said at the start of this video, flying with a controller can be rather difficult, but it doesn't mean it has to be. The top tip I can really give to you if you're starting out here on Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox is sort out your sensitivity. It really is of paramount importance. You're going to have such a better experience if you sort out your controller sensitivity. On some games it really doesn't matter, but here on Microsoft Flight Simulator it is just one of those things. Now, I've done a tutorial on it before and I'll show you how to do it in the settings in a minute anyway. But it is just like personal preference, I've got to be honest. You might find you want the aircraft to be more sensitive. If you're not getting your control inputs in, then you'll obviously want it to be more sensitive. But as I said, it really is a personal preference. Being honest, this is my top tip because it is so important and it's a simple tip. This video really has been a collection of simple tips. To sort out controller sensitivity, it's pretty simple actually. Once again, come into settings, come down to control options. Come up here and click sensitivity, once again well hidden. Now you might be looking at this thinking, oh my goodness, what is this all about? And yes, it's rather confusing. I do explain it in full in my video. But basically, if you use these controls, you're pretty set. You want a slightly big dead zone, just so you're not hitting the controller accidentally and making the aircraft go wild. And you want a nice curve, it's as simple as that. Sensitivity really is a game changer, I cannot say it enough. Especially if you're flying an aerobatic aircraft like this, which is really fun to fly. But of course, very sensitive, and I can't recommend it enough to go and sort out your settings. Especially when you're on landing, you'll feel it. But anyway guys, I hope you've really enjoyed this tips video. Of course it was designed for those of you who are pretty new to Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox, hence the title. But it is what it is. We've gone through a lot of stuff today, so I hope at least some of it will help you, because a lot of the stuff on Microsoft Flight Simulator is well hidden. Thank you so much for watching guys, I hope you've really enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, it really does help me out. Thank you to my first class channel members, they get a shout out on the screen now. Thank you to Captain Matt Russell, Ethan Bubeck, Simon Schmidt and Jesse Wiseman, it really does mean a lot. Anyway guys, from me today, that is all, see you soon, bye bye.